All right, guys, we need to talk about what's happening in Gaza, and I hope you, number one, pay close attention, but number two, share this video far and wide and get it out there as much as possible, because I'm pretty sure that the algorithm is currently suppressing stuff involving Gaza and Israel, and what you're about to see here is we are in the end stages of what we might call the final solution for the people of Gaza. So Israel has absolutely turned the screws on them. They are starving the people of Gaza and have been for an extended period of time. The aid organization that in theory is supposed to be helping is honestly just a front group run by Mossad and the CIA, where they lure Palestinians to certain places and open fire and kill a number of them. It really is like a Hunger Games situation in real life. And now we have a wave of deaths that currently happened as a direct result of the IDF starvation campaign. So let's start with this here. This is a report from Al Jazeera where they talk about how everybody who remains in Gaza is malnourished and fatigued. Watch.
As hunger spreads across Gaza, doctors say unprecedented numbers of malnourished people are arriving at hospitals in need of treatment. At a Shifa medical complex in Gaza City, some are too weak to stand or walk on their own. Doctors warn they don't have the resources to treat them.
We're receiving hundreds, if not thousands, of patients who are wounded on a daily basis. There aren't enough medical resources or equipment, we're operating beyond capacity, and we're out of beds. We can no longer take any patients in. We're forced to put up tents outside in the hospital's yard.
Ali's son, Musab, was injured in an Israeli strike. For more than 2 months, he has gone from hospital to hospital.
My son is being treated in this outdoor tent. The conditions are not good. We ran out of medicine. He's already suffering from severe malnutrition. Food and clean water are limited. Even diapers aren't available. His life is hanging by a thread.
Desperate for food, angry and exhausted, crowds came out into streets to appeal for help.
We are exhausted and we are tired. We spend days and weeks waking up and sleeping while we are hungry. It's enough. All of us are hungry. All of us here are hungry and we want to eat.
Israel essentially controls food distribution through the notorious Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, but the UN calls its food sites death traps. Nearly 900 Palestinians have been killed since May, trying to get something to eat. All across Gaza, families trying to survive both Israeli bombs and the lack of food.
My nephew lost both his father and mother 5 days ago. There's no food, water, or medicine. I don't know how to face him. He lost his parents and now his life is in danger. The whole world is watching in silence.
Many of the patients here are severely injured, and most are displaced with nowhere to go. And yet, they refuse to give up. A Shifa hospital is more than just a medical facility. It symbolizes Gaza itself, overwhelmed, besieged, and yet still standing against all the odds. Hani Mahmoud, Al Jazeera from Gaza City, Palestine.
I mean, it literally sounds fake when you say, hey, they set up these aid sites, but they're actually like fake aid sites, and they lure Palestinians there and then kill them. That sounds fake, it feels fake. But that's the truth. It's been immensely documented. Over 900 people have been killed at these so-called aid sites. So let me give you some more here. Haaretz says, Gaza hospitals report patients collapsing in the street from starvation, warning severe malnutrition under blockade is causing an imminent wave of deaths. So the numbers are rising sharply because of the mass starvation campaign. Here we have Dropsite. They say the following. At UNRWA, we have over 6,000 trucks full of food, hygiene supplies, and medicine waiting just outside of Gaza's borders. We also have over 1,000 health workers who can provide life-saving nutritional services to boys and girls across the Strip. Why should babies die of malnutrition in the 21st century, especially when it's entirely preventable? Here's an article underneath it that says, 4-year-old Ghazal Abu Zahir is one of 18 people who died of starvation in the past 24 hours. 18 people in 24 hours. The youngest victim was just 35 days young. And I'll warn you, the picture is graphic here, but nonetheless, you need to know what's going on, man. And this is what's going on. This is what's happening. Israel is purposely starving these innocent children to death. Dropsite says, in the last 24 hours, 3 Palestinian children have died of starvation in Gaza. Medical sources tell Dropsite that 71 children have now died from hunger and malnutrition. They warn of a critical shortage of baby formula and basic health care amid a suffocating blockade that continues to block food and aid. Al Jazeera's Hani Mahmoud reports that people of all ages are fainting in the streets and patients are being picked up off the ground. Hospitals are overwhelmed and unable to help. Doctors in Gaza are calling this a U.S. and Israeli engineered famine Systematic and deliberate, and again, tough to watch, but you have to see it because you need to know what's going on with U.S. tax money in our name.
نوه لأنها صورة يعني مؤثرة جدا نوه وقاسية جدا يعني نوه للسادة المشاهدين هذه هي صورة.
I mean, it's like we can't be forgiven for this. You know what I'm saying? How's this going to look? I know what it looks like right now, but how do you think it's going to look in 10 years, 20 years from now? People are going to be like, what the fuck? People keep saying, like, if you ever wondered what you would do during the Nazi Holocaust, well, now you know. And I think that's fair. I think that's a fair thing to say. All right, we have another one from Haaretz. Gaza hospitals report patients collapsing in the streets from starvation. So we already did this one, but look at this picture. This is literally 1 week ago. You have Ted Cruz, Adam Schiff, Chuck Schumer, whole bunch of Republican and Democratic politicians doing a fucking photo op with Benjamin Netanyahu, a literal wanted genocidal war criminal. And they do a fucking picture with him as he's starving innocent people in Gaza. This is depraved. This is depraved. And if I'm being honest, I think everybody in this picture deserves to be in prison, if I'm being honest with you. Because to sort of overlook the depravity and the war crimes of this man and like sit there and shake hands with him and giggle, what does that say about every individual in this picture? They don't have a basic fucking moral core in their body. There's not a moral bone in their body, I guarantee you. All right, more. This morning, the Israelis lured starving Palestinians with promises of flour, then opened fire on them, killing at least 67 and wounding hundreds. So on top of the starvation campaign, where now waves of innocent Palestinians are dying, you also have the routine ritual murder that occurs at all of these fake aid sites. I'm going to warn you, this is a tough video to watch. We're only going to watch a little bit of it here, but this is what happens. This is what happens when you try to go and get food to survive in Gaza. It's hard to watch, but this is what's happening. This is what's happening with our money in our name. Trump is arming this. Trump is funding this. Trump is supporting it fully, talking about taking over Gaza completely. Mohammed Shahada says 18 Gazans starved to death within the past 24 hours, the highest figure of death by severe malnourishment since the start of the genocide. We're now officially in famine territory. 17,000 children are suffering severe to life-threatening malnutrition. Another one, 19th Palestinian, has died from hunger since Saturday morning as famine deepens. I guarantee you that by the second this number's going up, as I talk to you now, it's definitely above this number, and it's going to go up and up and up. Now, you also have at the same time, this exact thing is going on from Dropsite News. The Jerusalem District Court has canceled Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's scheduled testimony in his long-running corruption trial, citing what his legal team claims is a case of food poisoning. As a result, Netanyahu will not testify again until at least September, once the court returns from its extended summer recess. Netanyahu's lawyer, Amit Haddad, requested a postponement of the week's hearings, saying the prime minister fell ill Sunday night after eating spoiled food. The state attorney's office agreed to reschedule, pushing for testimony on Wednesday and Thursday instead. The court, citing scheduling conflicts, simply canceled the hearings outright. So, remember what happened the other day that Netanyahu was supposed to be in court? Oh, would you look at that? He started bombing Damascus, the capital of Syria. So it was like, oh, sorry, we can't do the court case. I just started another giant war. Tee-hee-hee, my bad. Gotta go. And so he left then. And then the day after, it's, oh, bro, I'd come in for this corruption trial where you guys are, looking into my corruption stuff. But, I mean, my tummy hurts, dog. I don't know what to tell you. My tummy hurts. I got the lights in my eyes. Something feels off. So, I'm just going to skip it. And he gets away with it. And they reschedule it and give a fucking, wait until fucking September. This is a farce. Look at his face. Look at this motherfucker's face. A genocidal war criminal currently using every trick in the book to get out of the fact that he's also incredibly corrupt and up on trial for said corruption. Absolutely astonishing, man. Absolutely fucking astonishing what's happening right now. All right, so here we go. Now we have a doctor who's commenting on what's happening on the ground in Gaza. And again, I'll give you a warning. This is not pretty.
My colleagues in the emergency room describe a very clear pattern where on particular days they'll see different body parts targeted. So on one day they'll all be abdominal gunshot wounds, on another day they'll all be head gunshot wounds or neck gunshot wounds, on another day they'll be arm or leg gunshot wounds. And on last Saturday there were 4 young teenage boys all brought in very, very rapidly in succession with gunshot wounds to their testicles.
So do you understand what he's saying here? The genocidal IDF bloodthirsty psychopaths are playing a game where they'll pick a body part on a given day and snipe those body parts of innocent people in Gaza. I've run out of words a long time ago to describe what's going on here, just how depraved and disgusting and demented and deranged it is. I've run out of words.
So they're clearly being targeted to their testicles. And this is a pattern that we're seeing every day, that these young teenage boys are systematically being targeted. And it's almost as if a game is being played, that they're deciding to shoot the head today and the neck tomorrow and the testicles the day after.
I think every IDF soldier should be arrested. And by the way, I'm going to get to something in a little bit here, but there are some countries that are like, yeah, we don't accept what you're doing. All right, let's keep going. The director of Israel's Mossad spy agency visited Washington this week seeking U.S. help in convincing countries to take hundreds of thousands of Palestinians from Gaza, 2 sources with knowledge of the issue tell Axios. The spy chief, David Barnea, told White House envoy Steve Witkoff that Israel has been speaking in particular with Ethiopia, Indonesia, and Libya. The Israeli government's goal of removing much of Gaza's population is hugely controversial. While Prime Minister Netanyahu's government claims such a relocation would be voluntary, U.S. and Israeli legal experts have labeled it a war crime. In their meeting earlier this week, Barnea told Witkoff that Ethiopia, Indonesia, and Libya had expressed openness to receiving large numbers of Palestinians through Gaza, the 2 sources say. So in other words, what they're going to do is bribe the governments of these countries to bring in Palestinians, which is basically to complete the ethnic cleansing right in front of our eyes. That's what they're trying to do here. So as Tommy Vietor says, Israel is trying to globalize the ethnic cleansing. So kill as many as you possibly can. Whoever's not killed, force them to go to Ethiopia or Libya or wherever the hell will take them. Again, this is 2025. It's happening right in front of our faces. Here's another one here. Israel let the World Food Program bring some trucks into northern Gaza. They planned it out together. The IDF told the World Food Program they wouldn't shoot people at the aid convoy. Then the IDF shot people at the World Food Program aid convoy. How many stories have we heard like this, man? How many stories have we heard like this? This is a regular occurrence in Gaza. How many times has the IDF bombed schools? How many times have they bombed hospitals? How many times have they bombed UN buildings? How many times have they bombed every kind of civilian infrastructure you could think of? And they'll even do some shit like this where when they killed the I forget the celebrity chef's name, something Andre something, his World Central Kitchen thing, he got a green light from the IDF. Oh yeah, you could transfer the food from there to there. And then when they transfer the food, boom, the IDF killed his people. Like, this is a regular occurrence in Gaza. The IDF does not care. This is what happens when there's zero fucking consequences for being this unhinged and this murderous and this terroristic, is that they don't stop. They keep escalating. It gets worse and worse and worse. It's like terrorism inflation right in front of our eyes. To now, they just act like straight up fucking Nazis and they think it's fine and they think they can get away with it. And they largely do. Here's another one that's hard to watch. Yesterday, Israeli soldiers released a Palestinian man they had previously detained, then immediately shot him in the head with a gas grenade. He had been arrested for reportedly trying to cross the apartheid fence into 1948 territories. The attack came just seconds after they let him go. So I'll warn you in advance. But here's what happened. So you'll see here, this guy who's running, they're letting him go. And then takes out the gun, shoots him in the head with a gas canister. I have no idea if this guy survived or not. No idea. Zero. Just 23% of Americans say Israeli military actions in Gaza are fully justified. Just 23%. So what we're witnessing here is a sea change when it comes to American opinion, when it comes to Israel and when it comes to Palestine. And we've seen previous numbers from the Democratic Party. What was it, like 7% or 12%? Some really low number of Democratic voters support Israel now. Way more sympathize with Palestine now. And this is the correct reaction. In fact, I'm surprised that still 23% of Americans still support it. I would think the number would be down to like 10%, and that entire 10% having no idea what's actually fucking going on. But 23% of Americans say the Israeli military are fully justified in what they're doing in Gaza. Wow, man. Wow. So this is big. This is big. This is an absolute sea change. And then finally, I'll leave you with this. So this is some breaking news. 2 Israeli soldiers arrested in Belgium after war crimes complaint by rights groups. Legal action groups hail arrest of 2 soldiers as a breakthrough in accountability efforts for Gaza atrocities. I genuinely think this needs to happen everywhere. I think no IDF soldier should be allowed into any country. And if they go into these countries, they should be immediately arrested. In the same way that if the year was fucking like 1940 and some Nazi was trying to casually travel somewhere, like, no, the Nazi soldier should be arrested immediately. The IDF soldier should be arrested immediately. There is a genocide and a Holocaust being live streamed in front of our eyes in 4K. We're witnessing the worst crimes I've ever seen ever in human history. And these people act with impunity. So not only should you arrest Ben-Gvir, arrest Smotrich, arrest Netanyahu, lock them up and throw away the key, but you should also go after every single IDF soldier. So people know there are fucking consequences. If you're going to mass murder between 200,000 and 400,000 people, over 90% totally fucking innocent, tens of thousands of children, there are consequences to that, and the world's not going to accept it. And the faster we get to that point, the better. I don't want to have to wait a decade for the consensus to be that this thing is what it fucking is. But all these updates are horrific. The world needs to step up right this second. The world needs... I don't give a fuck how much you trade with Israel, whatever your ties are with Israel as a country. Every country should cut off all their trade with Israel, cut off the money, cut off the weapons, isolate them, demand the arrest of the top political officials and the top military officials. That's just the beginning. The UN should be enforcing the Houthi blockade. It shouldn't be the Houthis having to block the Red Sea. It should be the UN should be doing it to not allow any economic goods into Israel. Because this is, you got to apply pressure to stop this. And if you don't, you're fucking complicit. And so the world better get on the right page because, what are we going to do? Sit here as the mass starvation takes effect and literally watch over 1 million people starve? Because that's what's going to happen if things don't fucking change. So they need to change now. They need to change immediately. And I'm not a warmonger. I don't believe in, the only kind of war I believe in is defensive. Having said that, I've never seen a case that's more ripe for actual regime change than the psychopathic, bloodthirsty, terrorist, fascist warmongers of the Netanyahu regime, the apartheid terrorist state in Israel. So, holy shit. These updates are horrible. And what's extra painful is that you're not going to hear about this many other places. All eyes should be on Gaza. All care and concern should be on Gaza. And you're just not going to hear about this many other places. And it's a crime. It's journalistic malpractice, journalistic negligence. It's a crime that, our politicians in this country aren't talking about it. It's a crime the world isn't acting more aggressively. We are literally watching over 1 million people starve to death, and what are we doing? Fucking nothing. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.